Many players have not yet beaten the final challenge of Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Fatalis. In just 83 days from this upload, Monster Hunter Wilds will be released. So I thought that today I'll teach you everything I've learned in my successful hunts so you can say you truly beat Monster Hunter World. I'm also giving away a Steam copy of Monster Hunter Wilds in this video. More information on how to enter later on. Okay, I'll break this video down into checkpoints: preparation, phase 1, phase 2, and of course the finale. I recommend watching the video all the way through just so you get the full context, but hopefully these checkpoints will allow you to go away, make progress, before coming back to remind yourself on the next steps. With that being established, let's get started in your journey to beating Fatalis. First up, armour. I'm going to make the assumption that many of you don't want to farm Alatreon for this, so we won't go into detail. But do note his armour set has some super useful pieces, and his weapon has strong dragon element, which Fatalis is weak to. I used this full set for my first successful solo hunt, but it's not necessary. Do note that it may take some time to farm out your full build, but you would definitely save time in the long run by doing it. What I therefore recommend, and what I'll be using in the background footage, is 2 pieces of Gold Rathian and 3 pieces of Teostra. The primary reason for using this is for Gold Rathian's 2-piece bonus, Divine Blessing Secret. Divine Blessing is an incredibly powerful skill. When you get hit, Divine Blessing has a set percentage chance to activate, and when it does activate, the skill reduces the damage you take. Nice. Normally it's capped out at level 3, reducing damage taken by 50%. However, with our Gold Rathian bonus, we can get 2 extra levels in the skill, bringing us to 60% damage reduction, but more importantly, it now activates 40% of the time you get hit. This is a huge increase from 25% at level 4. And these specific 2 pieces of Gold Rathian will get you to level 5 alone, so no need for decorations or charms. The Teostra pieces are optional, but again extremely useful. We'll get Master's Touch for the set bonus, which means we lose less sharpness when we critical hit. Perfect for a long uninterrupted hunt like Fatalis. You'll also get Heat Guard, which prevents damage taken from the fire on the ground in phase 3. For the charm, I'll be using Challenger Charm 5. This gives us more extra attack and affinity when a monster is enraged. You can happily swap this out to the attack charm depending on your decorations. And for weapon, well, this depends on your main. In general, the Raging Brachydios weapons are very good for raw damage. If you want to go elemental, the Alatreon weapons are great alternatives across the board. It's insanely beneficial to at least get health augment 1 on your weapon, as this will counteract little bits of chip damage you may take. This will require farming the Guiding Lands, however. If you really don't want to do this, you don't need to, but maybe consider it if you're struggling later on. Please do look around and double check online for specific builds for your weapon. Some of course may have important skills that greatly benefit you in particular. Most of these can likely be checked off with decorations, but you never know. Oh, and remember to fully upgrade your armor if possible. It's just straight up extra defense. Speaking of decorations, as you can see I'm not using anything crazy. A general rule of thumb is that Critical Eye, Crit Boost and Weakness Exploit are priority, as these make you critical hit more often and crit harder. I didn't slot this in here for this run, but Part Breaker will allow you to reach your head breaker much sooner. Breaking Fatalis' head will reduce his damage in phase 3, so consider running this if you do find yourself struggling to get the break. I personally think while you're struggling to get your first kill, comfort skills are insanely important. Health Boost 3 is a game changer, as well as other defensive skills like fire resistance. In combination with Divine Blessing, you are now punished far less severely for making simple mistakes, and this allows you to spend more time learning the fight instead of carting. But ultimately, you will cart, and that's where Fortify is a game changer. When you cart, you'll get a permanent 10% attack bonus and 15% defense bonus for the rest of the hunt. And guess what? It activates again on your second cart, stacking the bonus. I would say Fortify is an essential skill. For your Palico, just craft the best sleep or paralysis weapon you can. I personally think sleep can be better just as it gives you more time to recover during the fight, but ultimately it's whatever you prefer. And now mantles. You're going to need a Ghillie Mantle and Rocksteady Mantle for the opening trick. You should then have a third mantle of your choosing ready for later. I personally like Temporal, but Fireproof and Evasion are great options. At the very minimum, you should have your Rocksteady Mantle upgraded via its quest so you can slot in decorations. I also recommend doing this for your other mantles, but it's not needed for this guide. You need to slot in heavy artillery decorations into your Rocksteady Mantle, you'll see why later. When embarking on the quest, make sure to have the Ghillie and Rocksteady equipped, it's for the opening strategy. And finally, before we finish the preparation stage, there's a few items you should add to your loadout. These are optional but incredibly useful. Demon drugs for damage buff, demon powder for more damage buff, Farcasters, but you can grab these in the quest supply box, so don't worry about it, ancient potions for when you cart, and finally smoke bombs, which are game changers as you'll see a bit later on. Oh, and max potions should always be in your loadout regardless. Bonus tip, if you add the ingredients needed to craft them and turn on auto craft, you can use a lot of them during one life. All that's left now is to eat and begin the quest. Here's an opening strategy to get a minimum 4500 damage if you follow these simple steps. First things first, drink your demon drug if you crafted them, take a Farcaster from the chest if you don't have one, and equip your ghillie mantle. Head into the arena and you'll notice that Fatalis won't start attacking thanks to our ghillie. Head up to the cannons and load them with cannonballs. Push the left cannon 3 times to the right and push the right cannon 1 time to the right. For consistency's sake, put on your Rocksteady mantle which has heavy artillery equipped and fire the right cannon. Wait for him to dash over to you and just as he stands up, fire the left cannon. As mentioned, this does 4500 damage if you have heavy artillery, which guarantees you a knockdown. Without heavy artillery equipped, this will not work. While he's down, I like to get my tenderize off on him, so it's one less thing to worry about. And this way we also get some slinger ammo. When he starts getting back up, as we have Rocksteady mantle equipped, we don't need to worry about his roar or getting perfect clutch claw timing. We can then grab onto his head and slam him into the wall for even more damage. Right after the wall bang, we use your Farcaster to head back to base. Enter the tent and swap your ghillie mantle out for whichever other one you prepared. For me, it's temporal. Then head back down to the arena. This little break in the tent will also sharpen your weapon back to maximum and heal you for any damage you may have taken. Just like that, you've done at least 6 to 9% of Fatalis' total HP right off the bat. The remainder of phase 1 is pretty standard. We'll want to hit his head whenever possible, and keep his body and head tenderized whenever it's safe to do so. Breaking Fatalis' head is technically optional, but failing to do so will cause Fatalis' fire damage to increase considerably in phase 3. So it's better to chip away at it where possible and avoid this problem down the road. In regard to general fight tips, I'll show you some easy openings later on, but if I discuss every opening for every weapon, would be here all day. You'll naturally pick this up as you go, but if you really are struggling, I personally recommend watching speedruns for your weapon. They're great methods to observe what moves you need to dodge and what moves you're able to punish. This is what helped me out a lot. Watching and replicating is the quickest way to improve, for me personally at least. Thanks to our opening, you'll hopefully find yourself getting through phase 1 much quicker. The time you lose recovering from mistakes should be negated as a result. At the end of the phase, Fatalis would of course do his big fire breath, so run into the cover and prepare to enter phase 2. First things first, use this time for housekeeping. Heal up, sharpen your weapon, and buff if you need to. As the fiery sword ends, grab the one-shot binder to your right, and your next move depends on circumstance. If your mantle with heavy artillery equipped is still recharging, do not use the roaming ballista, you'll just lose out on free damage. Likewise, if heavy artillery is ready but Fatalis is not tenderized, I still recommend you to not jump on the roaming ballista just yet. Instead, run over to the regular ballista and shoot down Fatalis with the one-shot binder we picked up earlier. Make sure not to miss. While he's restrained, we can re-tenderize his head and body. In any case, when we are ready for the roaming ballista, run over and drop a smoke bomb next to it if you have one, then jump on. The smoke bombs sometimes don't work depending on when you use it, but so long as you pause for a second or two before you start shooting, it often confuses Fatalis and lets you fire off a lot of your rounds for free. If you do this at the start of phase 2, it would also cause him to land first. You can then use your spare one-shot binder later on if he starts flying again. And this applies to smoke bombs in general, by the way, which is why I recommend you to bring them. You can lose a lot of time while Fatalis stays up in the air, and these are a great way to bring him down. Just use them sparingly if I was you, because they can be annoying to craft. The rest of the phase plays pretty similar to phase 1. Ideally, we want to get at least one head break now before we move into the final phase. There's a trick called cone baiting that will help you out with this a lot, but I don't know that I would recommend you to try it just yet. Here's a quick explanation. By standing at a particular distance away from Fatalis, and often by being just in front of his explosive globes, you will trigger the AI into using his big cone attack. When you perform this trick correctly, you will get an abundance of head openings to attack the head for free. I know that sounds amazing, but the reason I don't think you should do this just yet as a less experienced player is that it takes a good amount of time, practice and general game sense to pull off on a regular basis. You'll end up losing a lot of time running in circles and you're pretty likely going to get hit in the process. For the record, I'm still not great at cone baiting, so I'll leave a link in the description to a tutorial if you are interested. When you think phase 2 might be ending soon, try and keep Fatalis close to the gate if possible. Staying alive and getting your DPS is far more important, but if you can lure him over, great. Phase 2 will end with his second map-wide ultimate. Run behind the gate and pull the lever to stay alive. Much like earlier on, we can use this time to heal up, sharpen, etc. Here's a helpful trick that gives you a good start to the phase. When the gate drops, run over to the ballistas to your right. When you get there and just before he roars, drop one of your smoke bombs down. By the time his animation ends, you'll be hidden, giving you a chance to grab the one-shot binder next to you and fire it for free. Again, this gives us another great opportunity to tenderize or get more damage into the head if you need it badly. As such, if you still don't have your first head break yet, this is our main focus. Fatalis' fire damage will be too much to handle otherwise. In some cases it may be too late already, but don't give up. Try and get your head break as soon as possible. So long as you can get one, the fight is still manageable. The final phase can definitely be the scariest, but there's a lot that speeds it up as well. First up, a couple positioning tips. When Fatalis starts doing his 360-degree breath move, run around to the opposite armpit, and not only will the attack not hit you, but you can also DPS for free. Another good one, when Fatalis does the 3 charged up fireballs, you can stand right underneath him and you're completely fine. The only caveat to this is if he's really close to a wall, it can still hit you with the AoE splash damage, so take note of your surroundings before you do this. Again, there are more nuanced positioning tips for different weapons, so I'll refer back to my earlier point of watching speedruns, or runs in general. Sometimes your vision can be clouded while fighting, so take a step back and watch someone else play with a fresh set of eyes, you know? During the final phase, Fatalis will do 3 map-wide breath attacks which require you to run over to his position. This damage is increased without the head break, so try and stay centered in the arena if you have option to do so. This way, no matter what side he flies to, you should be able to head to safety much easier. If you do think it's not possible to make it, you can survive this attack, at least if you have one head break. Heal up as late as possible and just before the second blast wave hits, dive onto the ground. In this clip, I believe I may have been saved by divine blessing, but if you know you're going to die anyway, it's worth a shot. At some point the Dragonator will go online. Stand near it and Fatalis will eventually move over to you. As soon as he starts moving, go up and pull the lever. I see a lot of people making this mistake, so please note that if you wait up on top next to the lever, Fatalis probably won't run over to you. Instead, he'll keep shooting at you with fireballs and breath attacks, so drop down and trust me, you'll save so much more time. Likewise, the roaming ballista will come back online at some point as well. If you can, make sure to have Fatalis tenderized and have your heavy artillery skills online. That is of course preferable, but play this one by ear. If you're on death's door or don't have much time left in the quest, it may be better to simply use the ballista as soon as it's safe to do so. With all this being said, a bit more pushing and that should do the trick. I hope you learned a few things that will aid you in your first kill. If you do manage to take him down after watching this video, please do return here to let me know. Maybe you can give some tips of your own to help the next player. At the end of the day, Fatalis is a hard fight. Don't get yourself down if it's taking more time than you'd like to get the job done. You can always go away, farm more decorations, items, and try again in a few days. For full context, I only took Fatalis down for the first time in February this year. I was a brand new player when he came out, and I couldn't take Alatreon down, never mind Fatalis. When Rise later came out, I had this regret of not completing World that lingered with me until I created this channel in the new year and rose back up to the challenge. I don't want any of you to feel this way when Wilds comes out, so I hope I've made a difference. I'm sure many of you have been waiting on how to enter my Wilds giveaway, so here we go. All you need to do to enter is leave a comment below and join my Discord linked in the description, as this will be how I contact you and send the prize over to you. The winner will be randomly selected on Wednesday the 18th of December. I will reply to the winner's comment to confirm your Discord username. Subscribing is not a part of this giveaway, however I recommend you to do so for future uploads and any other giveaways I may do. Once again, to confirm, this is for a Steam copy of Monster Hunter Wilds. If you already have the game pre-ordered, you may not be able to redeem the gift, so keep that in mind. And with all that being said, good luck with your hunts, and thanks for watching.